Hello, welcome to Local Music Shapes Culture. I'm Allison Kristoff. I didn't post a podcast last week. Well, okay, so if you're new here, I talk about local music scenes and the culture behind them and what goes on. And I interview people a lot that are involved in bands or organizing shows or just the various types of people involved. DIY spaces are cool. Last week, I didn't post a podcast. Honestly, we recorded one. And it was just like a silly late at night combo. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe this doesn't cut it. I spent a while editing it. I don't know. I might post it under my Substack paywall exclusively, but we'll see. Maybe you'll get double podcast this week. Anyway, I didn't do it because I was on tour. Like, honestly, it was like 4 days out of town with my band. We call that tour around here. It was a little run. But it was fun. It was like really my first time doing multiple dates out of town like that. And yeah, it was with my band Pigmail Brains. I love those girls. They're awesome. Just playing dates out of town, like, really gets you to, it's like you're living with them for a few days in very close proximity. It's a bonding experience for sure, but it's fun. Everyone in that band is awesome. It was not really an issue. I love girls. Oh man, oh my god, I fell. So, I was going to talk about that today and how that went. It was awesome. We played, so I'm in Indianapolis, and we played Louisville at the Whirling Tiger, which is cool. I saw Bully there a couple years ago. And we also played in Carbondale, Illinois, at a place called The Commune. It was kind of like a co-op-y house, but not like explicitly. I don't know. I lived in co-op houses in Bloomington. And we also played in St. Louis, which was awesome, at CBGB. I think I said that right. I always get those letters confused. St. Louis show is probably my favorite. They were all cool in their own ways. And then we took a break day in like Evansville, which is kind of halfway, and just visited like one of my bandmates' like old coworkers, and that was fun. That's where we tried to shoot the podcast that you may or may not be able to see eventually. You know. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, organizing a tour like that is like, I feel like it's very scary or confusing, or like just like, how the hell do I do this? If you don't have a lot of contacts or you've just never done it before, trying to figure out what your route will be, what your dates will be, who to contact, who's booking you, the other bands on your bill if the person who's booking you isn't getting those bands for you, which is always really nice. That's like the ideal, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And just getting all that together. I mean, I didn't even really do the bulk of that. My bandmate Autumn did, and she rocks for that. And the tour ended up awesome. It was a lot of fun. All the places we played, everyone has been super supportive and cool. Really, like, no bad people experiences. Like, I didn't really talk to an asshole. Everyone was really nice and cool and encouraging. And I'm grateful for the experience because I've never really done that before. And I hope to do it more in the future. Pigmail Brains might do some dates with this other band, like going around. And also, yeah, I don't know. If you want us in your city, hit us up. Give us your contact info. So packing for that was like, honestly, chaotic because I had to go to my cousin's wedding the day before in Fort Wayne. And so I did that the day before, and then I went home and was home for like 45 minutes and had to pack for the dates out of town in like 45 minutes. And it was kind of hectic. Thankfully, I did not forget anything super important. It was all fine. I maybe took a little bit more than I needed to just because I was packing so fast, and I was like, what do I need? What do I need? And I'm also just the vocalist, so all I had to bring was my vocal pedal. I wasn't too worried about gear. And when we played in Louisville, one of the bands let us stay at his parents' house, which was nice. It was funny. Or one of the guys in one of the bands. And that was a good experience because we didn't really have a plan for a place to stay that night. So shouts out. community. Shouts out community. And then obviously we stayed at my bandmate old friend's house the next day. And then the next day we were going to stay at the house we played at. And then we ended up, we were going to stay at the house we played at. And then we ended up just wanting to get a hotel room. And then the last day, that was like a planned motel day in St. Louis. We didn't really have a plan for that at all. But honestly, my favorite day out of all of them was St. Louis at CBGB. Like, that venue was awesome. Like, they don't really have like they don't have a door fee. So that, so we just, our payout was just based on donations. And I think we just split that evenly maybe. So it was probably like our lowest payout day, but it was still my favorite day because of the crowd and just like the venue. I just really liked the vibe of that venue. And there's a lot of things I've learned to like plan out better next time, especially if I'm doing like a longer tour. Like, we took my dad's Honda CRV, which did its job for our like few day tour, but it could have been a minivan would honestly be ideal, like a van minivan situation. CRV, not really enough. Like one of my friends, Ty, he like messaged me and was like, I can't believe you're touring in a CRV. And I was like, yeah, well, we made it work. We barely had enough room for everything, but we made it work. But like if we did have enough room, I would say like bringing a cooler would be nice to be able to like not have to go out to eat all the time, because we definitely probably spent too much money on going out to eat. Like bring some sandwiches or just to-go snacks that like might need some ice or something. So that's definitely something I would do better next time in order to like make sure like we make net profit, which honestly we did do pretty good. Merch, I'll talk about that in a second. We did do pretty good over this tour. Like overall, we made more than like the 2 motels that we had to pay for and gas money, which was cool. We did get a speeding ticket. Thanks, Indiana State Police. Yeah, that was not fun. But, right, so back to merch. Okay, so merch is like bands' biggest method of getting money to be able to fund all the things that they're doing, to be able to fund like touring, to be able to fund like recording. Recording is like one of the biggest band expenses you have, honestly. Merch sales are where you get the bulk of your band money, honestly, or you can. It has like the most potential because you don't really get any money from streaming. You don't. We all know this. Spotify pays you pennies. All the streaming services pay you pennies. I mean, I don't even know if I doubt we even have a payout. I haven't even checked on that, honestly. I just assumed it was nothing. I doubt that's a thing. I don't even look into that because I assume it'd be like 10 cents. You know, so, but we have had some Bandcamp sales, but like, honestly, just from like we put together some merch so last minute. We had tapes, and tapes are like good for sales, but like, profit margin on like merch is like has a lot more potential, especially like t-shirts and stuff. I don't know, being in a band is like running a business, honestly. And we're still like, I mean, at the level our band is at, like the profit that we get pretty much just goes into the band and like buying more merch or like touring. Like we don't pocket any of that currently, even though, you know, I think what bands do is work, and I think is totally fair for a lot of the bands to take home like money if they choose to do that. But right now we're at the level in our band where we are just reinvesting the money into touring and like buying merch to be able to get more money to be able to do bigger things like record. Like we haven't really been able to afford recording more stuff yet, even though we have a few things we'd like to record. So we'd really like to do that soon because recording is fun. Being in a band is awesome. I don't mean to make it sound like it's all like this business logistics stuff, because it's like, it's really fun. Like touring, I honestly used to be someone that's like, I'm not really even concerned with doing out of town dates, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay with just playing indie. I am okay with just playing my hometown. But honestly, I mean, I was hyped for the touring before we did it. but I like loved it. I think I got less wiped out than a couple of my band members. I think got more wiped out by the whole thing. I think everyone enjoyed it a lot. It was just fun to like go to the different cities and meet new people and talk to new people, new bands, new cities, new scenes about their bands and their experiences. Get to see bands that we've never seen before. Get to play in venues that we've never played in before, because Indianapolis needs more venues. Dude, if you have a good place for a venue in Indy, you should hit up some local bands, because we need some more venues, especially venues with like a PA already, because it's kind of annoying to bring a PA to places. But like, honestly, if it's like centrally located in like a nice like a convenient location for people, that's like also a big pull. Because I know that there's this church in town too that some people have thrown some shows at recently, but it's just like kind of out of the way, not really where a lot of people are hanging. So I feel like it's like you got to have a big band on your bill for people to go there, or just have a lot of homies willing to come out for a venue that's a little bit out of the way, or it's got to be like a really cool venue. But yeah, if you're like in a band and you're planning on going on some touring, I highly suggest putting some merch together, getting some art together for the merch, and like figuring out how to order t-shirts and getting some stickers and like, yeah, definitely if you have recordings, definitely getting some tapes together. I don't know, even if they're just like live recordings of a show you thought was really cool. Like, people want to buy your stuff. People want to support the bands. They love local music. That's why they're coming out. And a lot of the time it's like 50-50. They want to support you and they want the merch. You know, it's not even always they want just the merch. Although having really cool designs is definitely a big plus for the merch. For the t-shirts, Mia was a rock star. I'm going to use the cringe corporate word and put together some last minute t-shirts. I think she got like just under 30 done. We ordered because we had this t-shirt design for like months and we just didn't have the money to print. Like, it's like, you got to have some money first. We just didn't have the money to print. And then I put something on our Instagram story that was like, what do you do if you've had a t-shirt designed for months and like don't have the money to print? And someone from Oliver Glen Records messaged and said, this label will make a screen for you and ship it to you. You should hit them up. And it was Dog Piss Records, I think based in Florida. And so we got a screen of our t-shirt design, because I think that was the issue before, is we tried to have a friend make a screen of it, but there's just, even though it's definitely screen printable, there were some details that I think might have been hard for like a DIY, someone that's just a hobbyist doing it. And the screen was awesome, and Mia got some Goodwill t-shirts, got some like t-shirts from craft stores, and made some t-shirts, and they were really cool. She like downplayed how good they were, but they were awesome, and I'm excited to get more of those together. So if you're in a band and on tour, get some merch together. As far as like booking in different cities, I highly suggest talking to other people in your scene who have done the same thing. See if they have contacts you can hit up. It's honestly, I don't know how to streamline this better. I really want to interview some people on here that have like done this a lot, like my friend Alex Beckman and Pat and the Pissers. Like, I think he would be really good person to interview. Beckman, I don't know if you listen to these, but you should come on to my podcast. And I don't know, there are a lot of bands here in town that have done some touring that I think would be good to talk to. And also Autumn in my band would be a much better person to talk to at some point, because she's the one that did the bulk of the work for this tour. And I'm very grateful of her for that, because I do a lot of other management work in the band and didn't necessarily have the capacity to put that together. So I'm so glad she did, because I had a blast. I had a blast. I'm so glad we got to tour. Finally, it was a lot of fun, and I would love to go on a longer tour. Trouble is always like, just, I don't know, if you are salaried, you have to use PTO or something, which I did. I'm about to use up like all my PTO because I'm taking a staycation next week. You have to either have PTO or you have to, if you're not salaried, you have to just take off work and not get paid during that time. So that's like maybe something I would want to consider too next time we are on tour, is like, especially for my bandmates that don't get PTO, like considering like paying out some of the profit. My best advice for like booking the tours is to ask around the bands and people in your own city and scene, people that have done it, and ask for like contact info. Also, just like trying to find bands on Instagram, Google, look through their Instagram pages, look at the flyers, see the venues they've been playing at, message the venues, message the bands in those other cities that you find on the flyers. I get a lot of messages to my band account, sometimes my personal, or both my band accounts, about like just people looking to play here. Either they have a venue down and they're looking for other bands, or they don't even have a venue down. Sometimes they're just messaging being like, hey, can you set up a show for us? But honestly, not a lot of people do that. I would only suggest doing that for your like friends that you know in other cities that you know book shows. Because like that's a lot of work to put together and a lot of effort to ask of someone, usually, unless you're like a big band and you know people want to book you and you know that you will have draw. It's a lot harder to convince someone to put together a whole show for you. A lot of times you have to do that. I guess people did put together this show for us. I'm lying. It's complicated. Sometimes you just have to read the vibe. Like in Louisville, someone put together that Whirling Tiger show for us. I think there was already another touring band on the bill, so maybe we were just added to that. But we got, from my understanding, we got that contact info from a friend in our scene that recommended someone to book a show for us. So it kind of was a like, this person does booking situation. We knew that. Yeah. Okay. Hit up people that you know book. Ask people. You can message bands and ask people. You can ask the bands if they know anyone who would book you in that city. Someone in the band might take you up on that offer, but more than likely they'll refer you to someone or multiple people and venues you can hit up, because venues, you can a lot of times just book a venue and then make a flyer for it. I think a lot of bands do that too. I'm trying to like think through all the shows we play. Pigmill Brains has a lot of shows booked already this year. Like we're like, as far as Indianapolis goes, we're like damn near booked through like June, pretty much, unless like something really crazy and big comes up. But if you have any really cool out-of-town shows, festivals, you can hit us up for that. We might be down, because playing out of town is fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed the experience of like being on the road and like playing in multiple different venues. I don't know. Should really have my bandmates up on here and see their opinions, but I really enjoyed it. I like more than I even thought it would. I didn't even think it would be like maybe bad. I thought it was going to be good, but I enjoyed it even more than I thought I would. So I was stoked about it. Okay. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I know that there's probably a lot of stuff I didn't talk about that people might be curious about. So let me know. Let me know if you have any questions. And thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Local Music Shapes Culture. I'm Allison Kristoff. I don't know if I said my name at the beginning of this podcast this time. You can subscribe to my Substack. I don't know if you've heard of Substack. Substack has been growing. It's cool. It's like it started off as an email newsletter platform, and now kind of has like this sort of like Substack notes integrated into it. That's helpful for like finding other Substacks that you like. It's kind of like Twitter. Substack isn't like Twitter. Substack is mostly like blog posts, articles, and it's also where I host this podcast, and they host its RSS feed and push it out to like YouTube and Spotify and Apple, and I know that there's other podcast platforms that I keep meaning to push this out to, but regardless, you can use its RSS feed to listen to it pretty much anywhere, I think, at least through audio. Video will be limited to Substack, YouTube, Spotify when I remember to upload the video. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Oh yes, I think I might put together like a different weekly series of just like me talking about my life experience and life lessons, not necessarily related to my bands or music, but I'm sure that those topics will come up. Sometimes I'll have my friends on there, and that one will be under my Substack paywall. Because I would really like to get some money for doing this creator stuff. But this podcast will always be free. So, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been Local Music Shapes Culture. Local Music Shapes Culture. I'm Allison Kristoff. Subscribe to my Substack as a free or paid subscriber if you want to support me. Thank you. Bye-bye.